Hi there, everyone. I'm Petra. I'm a life coach and advocate for survivors of narcissistic and emotional abuse. So, talking about narcissists and where, in which walks of life we meet them. Well, narcissists, as ourselves, come from all walks of life. But in my humble opinion, the communities where you would never or where you would least expect narcissism is the very place where it is infested with narcissists. And this would be in the spiritual and religious communities. Now, I'm using this because of my own personal experiences growing up in a Christian home, my father being a preacher. There were very many churches that I experienced. They were all of the same denomination, but because we traveled around a lot and we moved a lot when I was younger, I got to experience different churches. And I remember when encountering the people that I now understand to be narcissists would be the people who gave me an overall uneasy feeling, who made me feel less than, who made me feel that I was not good enough. And these were usually men who had control of their wives, of their children, of their congregation, of their followers. And whenever you would speak up, not myself as a child, but just looking at the adults who were involved in these congregations, whenever they spoke up and disagreed with these preachers, that is when they would be shunned. So the person who would speak up to this one preacher, pastor in particular, he lives in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, and the name suits him because he is a little rotter. But whenever these people would speak up to him, he would, as I said, shun them, or he would turn the rest of the congregation onto these people and say, he or she has a different opinion. I demand that you stop seeing this person. He or she has been banned from the church, and you are not allowed to get in touch with them. You are not allowed to be in contact with them. So to me, that goes above and beyond everything that the Bible teaches, which is love, which is compassion, which is harmony. So you get these rotters who come in and translate the Bible and the Word to fit their sick little minds. And this is something that I noticed at a very young age, and it was only when I turned 16 that I remember the same preacher, the little rotter that I talk about. He came up to me several times and he would say to me, I am going to pray for you. I'm going to pray that evil no longer has a grip on you. And what was he meaning by that? It would be the way I would dress. I was very, I was somewhat of a wild child growing up, a wild teenager. And I would go against every rule there was in church. And the rules would be, don't wear jeans, don't wear short skirts, don't wear makeup. So this is something that I would do from time to time, is go into church with a little smidgen of makeup, or I would show up in jeans, or I would show up in a short skirt. And this is when the man would say to me, or this preacher would say, I'm going to pray for you that you may be delivered from the clutches of evil. Well, needless to say, I delivered myself from his very evil clutches when I was 16. I said to my parents, I will no longer be part of this community. I do not want to be part of the church. It's not that I do not believe in a God or a high power, but I do not believe in what this man, this very preacher, is preaching across the pulpit. So I distanced myself, and thank goodness that my parents respected that. They respected my opinion. They found that, or they felt that at 16 I could make those decisions for myself. So again, we're talking years and years ago. Right now, of course, I believe in a higher good. I believe in a universal goodness and power. And some call it God, some call it Buddha. You can call it whatever you like. But I do believe that there is something far more greater than we ourselves can see with the naked naked eye. So this is where you will find in a lot of churches that there is, again, it is very, or these churches are very infested with narcissism. And of course, this would be the place. Sorry, I'm stuttering. It's warm in here. This would be the place where these are people who join a congregation are usually people who are looking for answers to life. They feel that there is a certain need inside of them, whatever that need may be. They are looking for answers. They are looking for consolation. They are looking for comfort. And so they are easier targets for these very toxic preachers to reel in. And I'm not saying that all preachers are toxic, of course not. But they are there. They are in your churches. They are your preachers, your ministers. And there is really very little you can do except for distancing yourself when you are onto them. And of course, as we all know, the way to be onto them is just taking note and being very aware of how you are feeling, how this person makes you feel, what they say to you, just that overall uneasy feeling, a feeling that makes you feel small, that makes you feel dirty, and that makes you feel undervalued. That is when you know you are dealing with a toxic religious leader. And this is also the reason why religious leaders and spiritual narcissists tend to flock towards churches, towards building a psychology practice or a coaching practice, is because this is where they get most of their supply from. They love bomb you, of course. So you join their church, you join their community, you join their coaching business or their psychology business or practice. And they will love bomb you in the beginning stages. So you will think, what a wonderful person. Of course, as all narcissists do. I can find my answers here. The answers that I've been searching for most of my life, this is where I will find them, because this person, especially in the beginning, gives me such an easy feeling and I feel connected to them. But this is, if you just look at, you can see it on social media nowadays, these very spiritual narcissists who have a humongous following, who have a lot of people hanging onto their every word. This to them, of course, is supply. So this is why you will never suspect them, because you will see their large following. You will see all those that congregate towards them and will think that they have the truth, that they have the wisdom. But of course, nothing is further from the truth. And the same goes for the spiritual narcissists, or those people who seem very much into personal development, very much into yoga, into meditation, into all of these spiritual things, and you will detect them. I've been through this several times through different people, abusers in my life, who preach the gospel, so to speak, who preach goodness and happiness and truth and love and light. But they preach one thing and they do the total opposite. This is when you can see that things are not matching up. And again, trust your feeling in this, because they are out to get you. They love the supply that you're giving, especially when you put them on a pedestal, when you listen to their every word, when you, again, are in search of certain life answers to your very, maybe sometimes complex life questions, and you feel, or they give you the feeling that they have all the answers. But just watch their behavior, watch what they say, what they preach, what they teach, and then look at their behaviors, because that is a huge red flag. When what they say and what they do not match up, that's when you know that you are dealing really, or you are in the midst of toxicity. So just be careful. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. And I dare to say this, that they are in some cases, very sick communities, because I have been through it, because I've seen it from the religious side. I have seen it from, especially being in my business, in my branch. I have been a coach since 2003. So I have seen so much in those 15 years of what coaches and therapists and psychologists can show you with their outer face, with that mask. And it could be something that you are looking for, and once you are reeled in, that is when the mask comes off. And this is, this is also what sends us into serious cognitive dissonance, is because we think, how could someone who is so into personal development, who is so into personal development, someone who is so into spirituality and into meditation and being so-called humble and preaching the gospel, or telling the masses, sharing their good teachings with the masses, how could they then, on the other hand, be abusers? Well, this is a great cover-up for them. Again, they use this cover-up because they will seem less suspicious. People will tend to not believe you, but believe the spiritual leader or the religious leader. But again, all you can trust in these situations is your own intuition, that inner calling on the inside that is telling you that something is wrong. Just check, be aware of your emotions and your feelings when you are in contact with these people, because this is what is going to give them away, and this is what is going to be able to steer you away from being involved in these religious and spiritual communities. So really, it's just a warning. This video is really just a warning. Beware, especially when you are suffering from PTSD, or when you have come to the end of your rope, so to speak, and you feel that there is just, when you are in the throes of complex PTSD, and you are frantically searching for answers, and you want to know what's going on, especially those of you who have just come to the awareness that you have been the target of narcissistic abuse. And when you are in that frame of mind, in that state of mind, you will grab onto anything that feels good, that seems good. You will grab onto people who promise you to help you through certain things, who will tell you, I know how to help you get through PTSD. I know the ticket. I know that I have the ticket for you. I know the answers to all your life questions. When you are in that vulnerable state of mind, you are more prone to being caught up in these religious cults. That is what I will call them. And in these so-called spiritual guru communities and practices. So be aware. First, if anything, if you are looking to join a spiritual group or join a church, just make sure that you have given yourself enough time to come to terms with what you have been through. Give yourself time to let the dust settle a little bit before you make a rash decision that is going to lead you further away from your healing and is going to mess up your mind, your emotions, your feelings even more. So just be aware of these people. For now, take care and watch out for yourself and have compassion for yourself. Love to all of you, and speak to you all next time. Bye for now.